I'm Madeline Morris. Welcome to World Have Your Say. Now, it's about a week since swine flu hit headlines around the world. What started off in Mexico has now become a fully fledged global issue. Governments are warning against all but essential travel to Mexico. People are donning face masks in cities where there haven't even been any reported cases. And the 24-hour news channels are still bursting with stories, advice, interactive maps and warnings. But is it all just a bit much? Does swine flu show that the developed world just can't handle a crisis? Roy in Washington has posted on the blog. He says, on the contrary, I think this is showing that we can handle a crisis. Word has spread quickly that a dangerous virus is going around and people are taking appropriate precautions. If it looks like anybody is overreacting, that's only because we don't yet know what this virus is capable of. Monica in DC says, I think it shows yet again how the media loves to blow things up for ratings. Now, in poorer countries around the world, infectious diseases like TB are endemic. You don't see people there walking around with face masks. So is it just that wealthy countries have life so good that we panic when we hit anything unknown and new? You can post on the blog. It's worldhaveyoursay.com. Now, today we are live from the lovely studios of WFYI in Indianapolis in Indiana. And we've moved up Highway 31 from where we were in Kokomo yesterday to the Big Smoke. And this topic actually has a very real feel for us here on the World Have Your Say team, because it was actually supposed to be Roz sitting in this chair, but we made the decision to send him straight back to London from Mexico, where he was earlier in the week, because of the very small risk that he could have brought swine flu with him to the good people of Indiana. At the moment, he's cooling his heels, sitting at home, because the BBC bosses won't let him come into work for the next 7 days. So what do you think about that? Are we overreacting, or was that just a sensible precaution? And I just want to be clear here, we're not talking about governments, we're talking about you and me. Are we getting too caught up in the fear? You can email us worldhaveyoursay@bbc.com or text us to +44 77 86 20 60 80. Now, in a moment, we'll go to Swaziland and Nairobi, but first I'd like to welcome with me here to the WFYI studios, Dr. Judy Munro. She's the Indiana Health Commissioner. Thanks very much for coming in.
It's great to be here.
And also just down the road in Bloomington, Indiana, we have Patrick O'Meara. He's the Vice President of International Affairs at Indiana University, and David P. Fidler. He's the Professor of Law at the Indiana University Maurer School of Law. Thanks very much for coming in, gentlemen. Dr. Munro, let me start with you first of all. Do you think that from the reaction that you've seen of the people on the streets of America, elsewhere in the rich world, are we overreacting? Does it show that people just don't actually know how to handle a crisis?
Well, what I've seen so far, and I just traveled the state of Indiana yesterday. Here in Indiana, I think we're seeing folks respond appropriately. Certainly, we are seeing some instances and some reports of folks that are probably overreacting. Really ask folks to listen to the public health authorities and follow the advice that we're giving.